Wow. Hi, friends. Very good evening and very warm welcome, Velocity Morning, to each one of you here today. We are again back once again. Pleasant evening, and we are here to learn. And I'm Dr. Usha Nair from Mumbai, involved with Velocity Genetics for a little near 5 years. I will not call less than 5 years, but it's been an awesome journey. It is a big opportunity where, being from healthcare, I understood it better. Found it as a very big tool to actually help people better with this technology and help them stay healthier in future. Well, the most important again is it is not about me. It is about the future of the technology. It is about the future of what we do today, and it how great this technology is going to be and where it is going to lead us very soon. So friends, it's very happy to get you all here again today. And today we are going to precisely talk about the future of the technology, future of where we are heading from today. And who else but somebody who actually founded this whole concept to be brought into India, to be able to reach it to people like you and me today. And yes, a good 5 years in the background with Velocity Genetics, with the growth and research being continuously tracked and being behind our growth and our prosperity towards abundance, towards good health, and towards not falling sick, staying healthy, saving lakhs and lakhs of rupees. And I think after some time, we will actually be able to say what you invest in insurance as a premium every single year, thinking you have the money for curative health. I will tell you today, tomorrow you will feel it might get into optional expenses, because you will have that assurance and guarantee within you that you are not going to fall sick. So why don't I keep it as an option? There I will invest maybe at a minimal, while today the entire mindset is we invest in a premium for an insurance, as much maximum cover that I can get. That is our mindset today. So this is another mindset I bring out today, which we will think about and we will help in preventive, because today we are into the field of Velocity Genetics, precision and preventive healthcare. Well, friends, it gives me great pleasure to always invite this person to talk to us, to inform us, to keep us updated, because he is someone who is a very, very multifaceted personality, very strong administrative and man management skills, somebody very aggressive like me also. He can manage very well, very sweetly. And though he's from a science background and a diploma in journalism, he may have been at many senior editorial and sales positions with reputed publications. But I am telling you, friends, healthcare is the way forward. So being a team leader, being a trainer, being a business consultant, being CEO to various B2C companies, being an author himself, but still quite a few years back he got involved with wellness initiatives. He got involved with a wide range of healthcare impacting products, services, and he finally founded in October 2016 Velocity Genetics. It has been his dream project, but I think being involved with the company for almost near 5 years now, the concept of nutrigenomics and gene-based wellness is the future. So please, with a very, very big heart and lot of warm greetings, and thank you for starting this for us and helping us impact people's lives better. Let us, in our Velocity style, welcome all the way, yes, from Mumbai itself, Mr. Stan Sarao, the CMD of Velocity Genetics. Welcome, Stan sir, over to you.
Thank you, Dr. Usha, and good evening to each and every one of you. It's been wonderful journey for the last 5 years, and thank you, Dr. Lopa, and thank you each and everyone. So it's been very eventful 5 years journey in Velocity Genetics. तो पिछले 5 साल में हम लोगों ने जेनोमिक वेलनेस क्या है इसके बारे में लोगों को बहुत कुछ ट्रेनिंग दिए हुए हैं, बहुत सारे इवेंट्स किए हुए हैं, और लास्ट 2 साल में जो कि क्योंकि कोरोना था, इसके लिए बहुत सारे डिजिटली, मतलब वेदर जूम में हो या बहुत सारी ऐसी वेबिनार्स हम लोगों ने की हुई है. ऑफ कोर्स वी हैव नाउ स्टार्टेड ट्रैवलिंग, एंड इस 2 साल में भी हम लोगों ने ट्रैवल किया है. सो दिस इज एग्जैक्टली व्हाट वी बीन डूइंग. सो टुडे इज द लास्ट डे ऑफ अ फाइनेंशियल ईयर. So we're going to start a new financial year starting tomorrow, and I think it's also a good time for all of us to take an audit of our health. So आज का टॉपिक हम लोगों ने तय किया है, how Velocity Genetics is ensuring a bright future for a lot of you. It could be in terms of your health, or it could be in terms of your wealth as well. So you will be on mute till around 9 o'clock, and we'll try to end by 9. And if you have any questions, so please chat. I would be able to answer them. And so how are all of you feeling? I want you to give me a one word in the chat box. All of you, come on. I want to see how many of you are really attentive and listening to me. Okay, thank you, Dr. Lopa. Thank you, Dr. Usha. KK Pandey from Hyderabad. Ashok from Chennai. Who else? Who else? Thank you, Florin ma'am. So how many of you are doing really multitasking? Okay, so thank you, Ekta. Thank you, Kalpana ma'am. Iswadkar sir, as usual, the young boy of Velocity Genetics. Thank you, Joyce, all the way from Dubai. Charlotte D'Souza, Advocate Ram Amradkar, bombastic always, as ever. I've never found a person more positive than you in spite of a lot of adversities. Okay, friends. So, I just want you to be a little attentive for the next 45 minutes, and we'll get on with the subject. So now, how many of you are interested in politics? How many of you are interested in Indian politics? Okay, KK Pandey, the next MLA. All right. So, जब भी elections होते हैं, and of course, now if you see, elections don't happen in one phase because of various factors. There could be violence, or there could be administrative challenges. So they do it in phases if the state is big enough. For example, the Uttar Pradesh in this year, 2022, they had 7 phases. So 7 phases में भी earlier बहुत सारे मीडिया जो है वो एग्जिट पोल में या एक तरफा जजमेंट देके वोटर को इन्फ्लुएंस करने के लिए कोशिश कर रहे थे. सो देयर वाज सम केस दैट वाज डन, एंड देन ऑफ कोर्स द सुप्रीम कोर्ट सेड you cannot publish the prediction of the future results of an election before the all phases of the election end. मतलब जितने भी चरण हैं वो खत्म होने के पहले आप एग्जिट पोल नहीं कर सकते. तो जैसे ही लास्ट फेज अगर जब खत्म होता है इलेक्शन का, तो द एट अराउंड 7 o'clock or 8 o'clock in the evening, everybody will be glued to the TV sets to find out, or social media to find out as to what are the exit polls saying. So exit poll in 2022 उन्होंने कि आगे जो इलेक्शन के रिजल्ट्स जो आने वाले हैं उसमें इलेक्शंस क्या क्या होगा, ऐसे कई सारे प्रेडिक्शंस किए. सो आई वांट टू आस्क यू अ क्वेश्चन राइट नाउ. मुझे ये सवाल पूछना है, एग्जिट पोल में 2022 का अगर हम लोग लेते हैं, क्या बहुत सारी जो मार्केट रिसर्च एजेंसीज हैं या जितनी भी जो संस्थाएं हैं जो एग्जिट पोल के रिजल्ट्स नतीजे बताते हैं, डू यू थिंक दे एक्चुअली स्पीक टू ऑल द वोटर्स in that constituency, or do they actually do only a few samples? There is a science of sample surveys. So what do? Do they speak to every client? हर मतदाता से वो बात करते हैं कि वो क्या करते हैं कि सर्वे करते हैं. So सर्वे करते हैं, of course there is a sample survey. So there is a science, there is also a law of probability. तो उसके लिए काफी अलग अलग स्तर के लोगों को, एज ग्रुप, मेल फीमेल, और इकोनॉमिक बैकग्राउंड, अर्बन वोटर्स, रूरल वोटर्स, ऐसे काफी सारे डेमोग्राफिक जो करते हैं ना, उसको सेफोलॉजिस्ट बोलते हैं, जो इलेक्शंस के बारे में करते हैं. सो व्हाट डू दे डू इज दे एक्चुअली कलेक्ट. व्हाट डू दे कलेक्ट? दे कलेक्ट डेटा. सो बेस्ड ऑन दैट डेटा, बेस्ड ऑन द फीडबैक, उनके पास एक सर्वे रहेगा कि चीफ मिनिस्टर के लिए कौन ज्यादा योग्यता आपके नजर से है, कौन सी पार्टी विन हो जाएगी. So this is a small example to tell you that based on the data that they collect from the customers or from the franchisee here, from the voters, they determine the exit poll results. Same way, friends, when we go to a hospital, and especially when you go to an OPD, the doctors also need your data in order to determine as to what is going to be your health condition. बट अनफॉर्चुनेटली जो बायो इन्फॉर्मेटिक्स हम लोग जो देते हैं, बायो इज बायोलॉजिकल, आपके शरीर का. इंफॉर्मेशन इज द डेटा दैट वी आर ऑल लुकिंग एट. एंड ये जो डेटा हम लोग ले रहे हैं, the doctors, when you actually go to a bioinformatics OPD lab or any pathology laboratory, you get a lot of bio information. But of course, the word bioinformatics is completely different in the context that we are speaking today. So, jo bhi, data that you get. So, based on that data, that your symptoms are valued and then validated with the data that is generated from the reports, whether it is blood sugar levels, whether it's blood pressure, or your vitamin D levels, vitamin B12 levels, or your blockages, or whatever, you name all kinds of diagnostic tests, and you will be able to get a conclusion or get a verdict from the healthcare professional who's treating you, and they would tell you corrective measures. But unfortunately, जब health की बात आती है, these bioinformatics are not predictive in nature. So pathological laboratory में most of the people go when they have severe symptoms. Very less significantly less percentage of people okay, so yeah, you can keep chatting, Mukti. I do not fully aware about your concepts, so you need to do something about it. Of course, we definitely will do that, and that's an effort that we are doing. So what's really happening here is that the predictive analysis, like it happens in the exit poll. So, it's a kind of a prediction. There's no guarantee that the exit polls that have been predicted to be, the results to be in a particular way. There are instances where the surveys have actually failed. The results have been completely opposite to what the predictive prediction or the exit polls in the electoral world we call it as. So उन्होंने काफी सारे ऐसे prediction जो किए हैं वो गलत भी साबित हुए हैं. So friends, when it comes to health, there has to be a very scientific way, there has to be a proven way, there has to be a research oriented way that will help people understand that yes, I've got risk factors for the life in future that I'm yet to live. So, there is a lot of various bioinformatics that you need to extract. Now, unfortunately, the pathology labs or the current healthcare management that we have, that we are all a part of, that doesn't really predict. We had several Zoom sessions in the past where we had Dr. Nikhil Baljekar, Dr. Mahendra Sawant, Dr. Ravi Vairagade. They're all our medical advisory board members, and they all agree that yes, you do analysis. And then we actually had in the past Dr. Shailendra Mishra from Lucknow, we had Dr. Girish Kelly from Delhi. So we all have discussed, and then we have come to a conclusion that the pathological lab reports don't really give you the prediction of your health analysis. So friends, what do we do? Well, it's time for all of us to upgrade ourselves. We need to ask, if you are not upgrading yourself, we'll be definitely outdated. So you got to ask, as far as your health is concerned, general health management of our family members are concerned, are we still feel that we are updated on what's happening around the world, or we are still outdated? If you are to health, maybe lacking in confidence, irrespective of wealth and education. I note your point, Mukti ma'am. We probably will have a little time to interact at the end. So, this is Kodak. Of course, we know the brand name, and this Kodak brand name is known. It's today a case study in a lot of corporate world because of its complacency. उनको ऐसा लगा कि we are the market leaders as far as photography is concerned. So they had the best of cameras. At some point in time, अगर आपके पास Kodak का कैमरा है, रोल है, you probably felt that, you're like probably having an Apple iPhone right now. But of course, because they were complacent, all the other competitors developed a lot of different technologies and the digital cameras that we have in all the mobile phones. And today we are talking about like 200 MP mobile cameras, and the iPhone cameras today are capable of picturing or filming an entire documentary. So that's the kind of clarity or the kind of hardware upgradation that has happened. So friends, Kodak went out of the business. So we can cite a lot of other names, whether it's HMT, whether it's Ambassador cars, whether it's BlackBerry phone, handsets. So a lot of companies who invented something, but after that they fizzled out. Unka focus consistently nahi raha. They've been out of the market. They've been completely devastated. And today, as far as health is concerned, uh, so today health is concerned, we actually are very, very casual. We also had a webinar where we talked about, our casual approach will definitely lead us to also casualties. तो ये सब हमको मतलब realities पता है, and then there is a huge system that I and you probably as individuals cannot fight. So while I note your chat, of course, you can continue to chat and then give your feedback, but stay focused on what I'm trying to say, and then we'll have a little interaction at the end. So friends, my question to you, आपसे सबसे सवाल ये है, क्या हमारा mindset, क्या हमारे जो आसपास का जो environment है वो mindset, is it ready for a disruption? When we introduced genetics in the year 2017, for the first 6 months, there was a lot of struggle because we've been going on doing a lot of presentations about what we are doing, what is genomic wellness, and लोगों को पूरा ये French and Spanish लग रहा था, लोगों को समझ में नहीं आ रहा था, तो हमको और कुछ अलग तरीका अपनाना पड़ा. We had to change our script and sales pitch, and अलग तरीके से लोगों को समझाना पड़ा. Then of course we also opted for direct selling industry where the genomic wellness could be understood. So at Welocity, we firmly believed in 2016-17 that healthcare में एक disruption आना है, and वो आना start हो गया है. So there is a consumer-driven digital disruption in healthcare as well. So during the lockdown, there has been a lot of prophecy. बहुत सारा ऐसा भविष्य बताया गया कि अगले 10 साल जो हैं वो मतलब it's going to be a biotechnology oriented growth in every sector. So if you see the technology, which is quite at advanced stage, will be clubbing in terms of merging with the healthcare industry, and both this industry will present a very strong, very insightful and very useful biotechnology platform with which the modern healthcare are okay. So most of the healthcare services will be driven by the technology. So friends, what we really want to do is we need to really understand as to where are we standing today. Whatever number of people who are here in this chat, of course you had an option not to attend this webinar, but then you are here simply because you really want to actually understand what's happening around the world as far as technology of genomics is concerned. So in the top 10 technologies that are the sectors which are going to create a lot of very, very strong economic impact, the technological impact on the economy. So the mobile internet is leading, and there's no doubt today the handset that we have in our hands, I'm sure many of you have logged into this webinar through your smartphone. So mobile internet is everything today. It's a library, it's a right from a camera to a calendar to a you can have with the financial planning and everything. You can create wealth, and everything. The life depends on your mobile to a great extent. So it has become your integral part of our life. So is the automation of the knowledge work. It could be artificial intelligence or the blockchain technologies, etc. So Internet of Things, the IoT is going to take shape. The cloud computing and the cloud, the concepts on the cloud, the advanced robotics, which can also to an extent now do surgeries from a remote place, autonomous and rear autonomous vehicles without the actual manual drivers. But at the 7th place is the next generation genomics. So we are at the forefront of the technology, and yet technology के साथ अगर हम लोग जुड़े हैं, so then I think we need to really pat our back, and then we need to say we are far ahead from a lot of knowledgeable people. We have a lot of intelligent, knowledgeable people today dying, in some very, very areas. The other day I showed you a picture of a footballer from UK dying with heart attack at the age of at the age of 16. The other day we had a musician from Band Boys from the UK dying out of neurological disorders. So all this can be actually predicted through a genetic testing, and that's what the world of genetics talks about, from especially from a consumer genetics point of view. So friends, अगर हम लोग ये देखते हैं कि कौन सी ऐसी टेक्नोलॉजी है जो पूरे दुनिया के ऊपर बहुत बड़ा इम्पैक्ट डालने वाला है, इफ यू सी इट्स द टेलीमेडिसिन जस्ट एट द टॉप, इट्स 29%. Now you've seen in India a few brands who are actually now selling prescriptive medicine even on telephone or on your app, on your on your desktop. You can actually order and the medicines are at home with some coupons, with some discounts and everything. So the technology is changing the landscape of the wellness. So yeah, right. So Mukti, I note your points and then probably I'll refer to it when I really finish. So you probably can, if you can hold your comments back, and then we can have an interesting conversation, and you're actually complementing to what I'm saying. So telemedicine is at the top. Now, if you see, I talked about blockchain, the economic impact, the biggest impact in the world in terms of the general masses, blockchain is at just 2%, though it's touted to be one of the latest technologies. So you look at cloud computing, information security, mobile data, everything, but at the top is telemedicines. So what does it mean? Counseling without a physical appearance, getting prescription from probably the best of medical professionals from the world. And it need not necessarily be medical professionals. Your lifestyle could probably have a lot more other experts like lifestyle coach, your nutritionist, your so many others, your exercise instructor, and it all can happen on your telephone, your mobile phones, your internet. And I think 2 years before we did not really know much about Zoom, and today Zoom is the buzzword. Everybody talks about Zoom and immunity at the same breath, simply because ki uska impact itna bada ho gaya hai. So friends, how does genetic testing help? And I want to tell you that, if you could actually predict the genetics, the risk factors, that necessarily does not mean that कि आपको वो बीमारी आने वाली है, but then आपको बीमारी आने की संभावना है. So you stand a risk factor, and there are so much of a risk mitigators that you can implement apart from nutrition, apart from the lifestyle lifestyle changes. बहुत सारी ऐसी चीजें हैं जो आप अपना सकते हैं. But फिर भी, I mean, like as Mukti ma'am, the person who's chatting, it's true that people today forget about predictive, but preventive के लिए भी उनके पास patience नहीं है, because human life is very fragile. In spite of that, people take a chance, and a lot of doctors also tell us that कि उनको कोई भी बीमारी आए, people actually don't care. People feel कि भाई एक दिन तो मरना तो है ही है, so let's live life the way we want. So why is genetic testing significant? Is because we can actually classify it into two. सबसे पहले है मेडिकल जेनेटिक टेस्टिंग, जिसको हम लोग क्लिनिकल जेनेटिक टेस्टिंग भी कहते हैं, एंड वी बीन क्लियरली डिस्टिंग्विशिंग दिस. ये जो है, ये टेस्ट इज पीपल हु आर ऑलरेडी इल, जिनको बीमारी है. तो ये बीमारी का रूट कॉज क्या है, या अगर बीमारी ऑलरेडी पता नहीं है तो उसको पता करने के लिए, या अगर पता है तो उसका रीजन क्या है, उसकी सिवियरिटी क्या है, उसका किस टाइप का मेडिसिन की जरूरत है, क्या डोसेज होना चाहिए, what should be the duration of the treatment, ये सब डिटरमिन करने के लिए medical genetic testing can definitely help. But what we do at Welocity is a predictive genetic testing. So predictive genetic testing is not for the people who are already ill, but it is actually for people who are well, मतलब जो अभी so called healthy हैं, तो आगे वो बीमार ना पड़ जाए, इसके लिए we do this genetic testing. So friends, as we know, genetics का ये हम लोगों ने double helix को देखा है. तो यहाँ पर जो एक ट्विस्टेड लैडर या उल्टी एक सीढ़ी जो है, उसमें ये जो उसके जो स्पोक्स जो हैं, उसको हम लोग ये न्यूक्लियोटाइड से पहचानते हैं, एडेनाइन, थाइमिन, साइटोसिन एंड ग्वानिन. सो ये फॉस्फेट के बैकबोन है. सो ये सीढ़ी को बनाता है. तो लाइक वी हैव अल्फाबेट्स इन द इंग्लिश लैंग्वेज, और अगर अल्फाबेट्स का सीक्वेंस सही नहीं है, देन वी कॉल इट एज अ स्पेलिंग मिस्टेक. हमारे लाइफ में भी, हमारे शरीर के अंदर अगर ये जो जेनेटिक का सीक्वेंस है, इसमें गड़बड़ है, वो हेरिडिटरी हैसियत से हो सकता है या हमारी लाइफस्टाइल के जरिए हो सकता है. अगर हुआ है, ये जो चेंजेस होते हैं, इट कैन बी वेरी इंस्टेंट चेंजेस or sometimes it could be a very inherited changes. तो इसको हम लोग कहते हैं mutations. So ये जो mutations जो हैं उसके आधार पर we can predict as to what are the risk factors that have come because of the population studies or the surveys or the samples that have been collected and studied for years together. 15 साल 20 साल के स्टडीज के बाद में, सैंपल सर्वेस के बाद में, पॉपुलेशन जेनेटिक्स के आधार पर उसका प्रेडिक्शन दिया गया है कि दिस इज एग्जैक्टली व्हाट द रिस्क फैक्टर्स दैट यू हैव. और ये रिस्क फैक्टर्स को भी अब हम लोगों ने ग्रेड किया है, नॉर्मल रिस्क, मॉडरेट रिस्क एंड अ वेरी हाई रिस्क. सो दिस इज एग्जैक्टली इज द जॉब ऑफ बायो इन्फॉर्मेटिक्स. सो फ्रेंड्स, जितने भी आज लोग वेबिनार्स में हैं, what you need to really understand is that you actually get an information which is much privileged and much advanced than what probably people do. I actually happened to visit a OPD other day for a routine test, and I was shocked with the number of people queuing up. हर एक consultant के पास token system है, and the consultation time is just 4 minutes, and you definitely pay a huge price as a consultation fee, and then not just once, repeatedly, just to know a little suggestions, which we of course to a great extent give in Velocity Genetics from a wellness perspective, of course, not from a medical perspective. So I'd like to bring in a couple of concepts that I think we all need to know. Is that one size fits all अभी तक जो हम लोग मानते आए हैं कि भाई चलता है. Now as far as healthcare is concerned, that's not the norm anymore. So personalized nutrition is something that's getting very popular. So customized methods हैं, ingredients आपके अलग होने जरूरी हैं, formulas अलग होने चाहिए, self monitoring kits tailored to specific consumers and health needs. So everything needs personalization. Today there are people who would like to pay you money for a quality service, but they need an authentic, a scientific, well researched advice. Are there people like that? Of course, yes, there are a lot of people. If you would come and tell me saying that, okay, I've got such as a service, and if I find that service to be good, useful, value for money, I definitely will go for it straight away without much of fuss about it, simply because everybody would like to take care of their health. So friends, today I would like to reiterate this fact, जो हम लोग हर बार हमारे webinars में कहते हैं, हमारे programs में कहते हैं. It is the food with which your body is nourished. Body gets the nutrition every day, and then that performs to the optimum level. Whether every system, every organ, every tissue, every cell of your body functions based on the food that we put into our body every 4 hours, every 5 hours, or repeatedly during the day. So every 6 hours you probably need to feed yourself, otherwise your body is not going to perform. You probably might be hungry, sleepy, thirsty. You will not be able to have that energy. So how many of you really believe food is going to change your genes? How many of you really believe? Okay, so yeah, so when it comes to our own selection, sometimes we still opt for not so good suggestion. I don't know if Dr. Suresh is there. I was in Bangalore yesterday and I met him, and then I was really happy because I've met a lot of nutritionists and dietitians, but he's an Ayurveda physician, and he tells me that he runs a center where he has only supplements. He has only, of course, Ayurveda medicine and supplements, and he actually tests people. He has a particular machine which actually gives him a lot of insights based on their organ health and everything. Of course, he doesn't share the report with the patient, because then that may be questioned, or probably it's debated. But then he takes that information, and based on the parameters or the data that he gets, or the bio information that he gets, he actually prescribes a lot of nutrition that he has. And वो nutrition के बाद में he actually asks people to come back and report their health, and then he follows up, and then he sees wonderful results. And he, supplements could be, it could be curcumin, it could be thiamine, it could be, CoQ10. And then he was actually discussing about CoQ10 as to why people feel the necessity, because of the deficiency that they have, because of the wrong usage of, contaminated water. One of the reasons could be that. So friends, I want to bring to you news that was published today in the major leading newspapers. So in one of the events in Chandigarh, the Miss Universe, Harnaaz Sandhu, actually revealed that she's struggling with celiac disease. जब वो contest कर रही थी, एक contestant थी, she was criticized because she was very thin and very lean. तो एकदम मतलब एकदम सुकड़ी है, this kind of all kind of names that was she was given. And now that she changed her food, and she also tried to put in a lot of weight, and then today actually she feels that she is overweight. Had this happened a year ago, probably I don't know if she would have been actually a Miss Universe or no, but then she has now put on weight, and people are criticizing that she's too fat, she's too bulky, and she says that I'm actually struggling with something called a celiac disease. अब celiac disease क्या है, इसके बारे में हम लोगों ने काफी कुछ डिस्कस किया हुआ है. So the celiac disease is because of the gluten intolerance that you have. So it doesn't give you a negative impact immediately, but on a long run, it actually creates a lot of digestive related health. So it not only impacts your gut health, your stomach, bloating, pain, and nausea. It can also create joint and muscle pains. It can cause infertility in females. A lot of intestinal issues like constipation, diarrhea, autoimmune disorders, and you probably could develop acne, eczema, dermatitis, and all these kind of conditions of the skin, and also your neurological conditions like headache, migraine, chronic fatigue. So ये सब होता है. Now, who actually visits a doctor and then says, just find out if I've got a celiac disease or if I've got a gluten intolerance? So people actually feel that these are normal conditions, and they actually consume a lot of medicine, which actually creates a lot of damage to the organs like kidney and liver. Now, how many of you are really aware about what happened the other day on the Oscar night? So when in the Oscar night, sorry, yeah, in the Oscar night yesterday, if you know Will Smith, the actor who won the Best Actor award, actually went onto the stage and slapped the comedian Chris Rock, who actually was presenting to the award ceremony, and he actually slapped because he made a joke about his wife. Now that's his wife, Judah Pinkett Smith. So she is actually suffering from a disease which is called the alopecia disease. Now, what is alopecia? That you lose hair in patches, and especially this happens in females. And it's a very awkward disease for a showbiz personality who's supposed to be on the screen all the time, shooting and, in the silver screen and all these kind of things. So in the showbiz business. So जब भी उनके wife के ऊपर joke किया गया, and he could not take it, and he actually went onto the stage and slapped the person, the young comedian called Chris Rock. Now, the whole world, उन्होंने ऑस्कर में किसको क्या अवार्ड मिला उसको छोड़ के कि ये इंसिडेंट सही है या नहीं है, इसको जस्टिफाई करना स्टार्ट कर दिया. It became a shocking event in the history of Oscars. This was the 94th Oscars, the premier award in the film industry in the world, and many people are supporting Will Smith. Many people are feeling this is across the line of decency, and ये हुआ. Now उसको साइड में रखते हैं. Let's look at what alopecia is. Now, for a person of that caliber, this is a big health condition, losing hair. So they are in the showbiz business. But alopecia can impact a lot of other people also, not just the people in the showbiz business. So what do they do? They actually have a lot of emotional trauma. उनके ऊपर काफी कुछ मजाक किया जाता है, उनको humiliate किया जाता है. They sometimes probably not attend a lot of functions because they don't really have the proper hair. Now, just understand it. Just with hair, it probably can happen with your with your skin as well. I had a friend, he's from Gwalior. Unfortunately, he's no more. He actually developed leukoderma, and leukoderma के वजह से उनको ऐसा लगा कि मतलब मैंने जब भी उनको पूछा कि आप ट्रैवल नहीं करते मुंबई में, मुझे मिलते नहीं है, तो बोले कि नहीं, मुझे ऐसा ऐसा कंडीशंस है, एंड अभी मैंने आना जाना थोड़ा सा बंद कर दिया, मैं घर के अंदर ही रहता हूँ. बिकॉज पीपल आस्क हिम कि भाई कैसे हुआ, क्या हुआ, तो एवरी टाइम ही एक्सप्लेन्स एंड ही फील्स लो. So ऐसे बहुत सारे ऐसे lifestyle diseases हैं. They're not life threatening. You don't really need to be there in the ICU. But there are so many things that you probably could do this from a genetic testing. So alopecia is something that we actually do. And in one of our testimonies, I want to tell you that this is a case study of an alopecia student. So this student, okay, so this patient who did a DNA test with Velocity Genetics just a 14 years boy. Now look at his condition before the DNA test. Now that's exactly what was his condition. And you actually could see the report right here. If you could see the report, genetic report that is done, these are our brochures. And these were the pictures clicked before 6 months. And after the report was done, and with a constant follow-up, and just with some lifestyle changes and with the diet changes that were suggested, the person actually developed this hair in around 6 months. So this is something that can happen in genetic testing. Now, this is just a small testimony and an example of one condition. What we do at genetics is much more beyond that. So friends, when it comes to food, the nutrition advices are tailored. They are, measured in terms of the calories, measured in terms of the intolerances, measured in terms of your, medical conditions, your age, your growth factors. ये बहुत सारे ऐसे, conditions के ऊपर, इसके ऊपर एनालिसिस किया जाता है, जो बायो इन्फॉर्मेटिक्स, जो डेटा जो मैंने पहले बता दिया, उसको नजर में रखते हुए the suggestions are given. I'm given to understand, I'm yet to visit that there is a hospital in, there may be many hospitals that they actually have your prescription of food for not only, your supplements, but actually also your breakfast, lunch and dinner. So there are naturopathy students, hospitals where people can go and stay for a month, where आपको अलग-अलग सब्जियां वही डोसेज में दिए जाती हैं जो आपको जरूरत है. और अगर आपको कोई भी उसमें एक सब्जी अच्छी लगी, अगर आप बोलोगे कि यार थोड़ा और ज्यादा दे दो, तो बोलते नहीं, आपका डोसेज में मना है, ये सब्जी आपको ज्यादा नहीं मिल सकती है. ये इसके लिए, क्योंकि जब हम लोग अपने आहार को, अपने खाने पीने को भी अगर मेडिकल दृष्टि से देखते हुए हमारे शरीर के एग्जैक्ट रिक्वायरमेंट क्या है, इसको अगर देखेंगे, तो definitely it also will work wonderfully, because we need to really understand the science and art of eating right. So friends, what do we do at Welocity Genetics? We are the pioneers and market leaders in gene-based wellness solutions. And we also create a lot of intellectual awareness based on the teachings that we do through genomic wellness awareness events, webinars, and also education courses through WIGNET, which is an Institute of Genomics, Nutrition, and Entrepreneurship Training. So what's our philosophy? We go by the philosophy of the father of modern medicine, who is Hippocrates. उन्होंने क्या कहा कि आपका खाना जो है वो ही आपका औषध रहे, and not the other way around. So today people are consuming more tablets, colorful pills and capsules and everything, and which probably may not be really contributing much, but then there is a illusion or maybe a placebo effect that it's working for them. So it's only the management that happens. I do agree with some of the chat insights that are there. We'll probably have a little discussion at the end. So friends, Thomas Alva Edison also said that it's the lifestyle, it's your nutrition that matters, that can not only just prevent but also cure diseases. Because if you can understand the science behind nutrition, human beings, all of us are social animals, and then we need to be working very closely with the nature. So holistic well-being agar apne ko jeena hai, so balanced, nutritious, organic food ki zarurat hai, and we got to make some smart and wise lifestyle choices. So WIGNET, which as I told you is an Institute of Genomics, Nutrition and Entrepreneurship Training. Our effort is to create a lot of genomic wellness entrepreneurs, so who not only propagate the science and the research behind this project, but also make a living out of this as professionals, professional advice, professional, professional, services is what they offer through various things. So at WIGNET, we've been fortunate enough to have a lot of like-minded students. उन्होंने अपनी पढ़ाई भी की है. They have actually got their graduation or the certificate in the genomic wellness. And we also have conducted a lot of SAGE programs. SAGE stands for Sustained Accreditation of Genomic Education. Over a period of time, we have actually done various, symposiums, which is a part of a continuous education, online education. So it's a 6 to 7 hours workshop. So we have done that at the national level, along with the emerging trends of epigenetics. We have done 7 such seasons, and we'll probably present the 8th season very soon. Now that the offline events also can be conducted. So friends, the national workshop on the emerging trends of epigenetics, season 1 to 7, we have finished. It happens usually on a Friday and Saturday. We probably will announce the 8th one very soon. So what we have also done is that we have offered this 2-month certification course in nutrigenomics, CCNG. So the 7th batch is right now going on. The 8th batch will be in the month of April. So any one of you who are interested before 10th of April, you please register, talk to the persons who have invited you here. They will be able to tell you the course content as to how does it go. And if anyone you want to, uh, you know, uh, uh, what we have, we definitely will be able to have you as one of our students. So right now, every Saturday we have a batch and online classes between 11 and 2 o'clock. So you can become a professional along with a lot of other applied and allied healthcare services, whether it could be pharma, whether it could be diet and nutrition, or whether it could be yoga or Zumba and everything. The genetic is a combination that's complemented along with that. And in this course, of course, we are doing 50 chapters, very, very interactive sessions, unlike what I'm doing right now. And we have 2 hours into 8 weeks, which is 16 hours online classes, which through which we go through all the 50 chapters, play some videos for you, and then illustrate the chapters and answer all your questions. So this is something that we do. Friends, India में food products को FSSI रेगुलेट करता है, फूड सिक्योरिटी स्टैंडर्ड ऑफ इंडिया. सो ये भी एक कैंपेन चलाते हैं, दैट्स कॉल्ड ईट राइट इंडिया, सही भोजन बेहतर जीवन. तो अगर हमारे फूड इंग्रेडिएंट्स में if there is not adequate nutrition that's added, but it's only the preservatives and the taste factors or the visual treat that we are doing, we're actually disturbing our the digestive system. And today the gut health has taken a lot of prominence because we are losing the gut health in a big way. So that leads to anemia, the malnutrition that happens, and that probably impacts all the organs. And when your organs are not doing well, your systems are impacted. And that's why today a lot of people are getting victims of the multiple organ failure syndrome, and people actually are losing life. So take care of the five important organs: the brain from all neurological conditions, the heart from all cardiac related ailments. We have lungs, which are causing a lot of respiratory related diseases, and WHO is on record saying that 10% से भी ज़्यादा मौत आज pollutions की वजह से हो रहे हैं. There was actually a survey last week. Out of the 50 most polluted cities in the world, 35 of them are in India. Including some of the famous metro cities, and very, very unfortunate that we have this. And in spite of that, we still have a lot of things to catch up as far as our general health is concerned. So this is exactly what we launched in 2017, Lifetime Genetics Program, which is now renamed as DNA Genetic Program, Velocity Genetics DNA Testing Program. So Pooja Bedi हमारी brand ambassador रही, and then with her help and with the continuous education that we did, we could actually position ourselves as the pioneers, and a lot of people followed the trends that we have set. And of course, this is based on the wellness test. So 3 broad categories हैं जो genetics के, जो आपको पता है कि already we have talked a lot about this. So forensic one, the clinical one, and the wellness one. So we are not talking anything about the forensic here, because we are not into criminal investigation, identity or paternity, or this is all done by the government or the regulating agencies. It could be the police or it could be the courts, etc. So forensic को side में रखते हैं. Talking about clinical, well, of course, clinical tests are now prescribed by the doctors, but then there are very limited tests that are prescribed by the doctors, especially the oncologists, who are actually still suggesting a lot of to test. So ये डॉक्टर्स का काम है. अगर क्या डॉक्टर्स इंडिया में जेनेटिक टेस्टिंग करते हैं? Yes, of course करते हैं. It's not that doctors do not do, they do it, but they do clinical tests. Now, doctors only treat patients, and I want here a little clarity for all of you, is that the genetic testing that we do is not for the sick people. We do not, this is done by the healthcare professionals. Unfortunately, we still are looking everything from this prism, that everything to do with health has to go from a clinical perspective. I'm sorry, that's not the truth anymore. That's why we need a paradigm shift in our thinking. We need to come out of that box and then say a good health can happen through health and wellness. And that's where health conscious individuals matter a lot. These are the messengers of good health through genomic wellness. Because nature mein, we did not really have allopathic doctors years before. That's a science that has been popular, and the pharma industry has made it so compulsory or kind of it's like web is viewed, it looks like as if like health means doctors. It's need not necessarily so. There are so many conditions that the mainstream healthcare industry is not able to solve, which are solved by maybe laughter therapy. We have evidences of that. Maybe because of the willpower of a person. There are miracle stories where the medical doctors have declared, saying that look, you got 3 months, 6 months, or maybe a year's time. They have actually resurrected by their willpower. So your healing is done by your body, not by a medical doctor. They probably could be a catalyst. वो आपको सही दवा दे सकते हैं, लेकिन वो दवा भी अगर आपके शरीर में काम करना हो तो आपको फार्माकोजेनोमिक्स या कौन सी दवा किस मात्रा में आपको काम करती है ये पता करने का जेनोमिक्स का साइंस है. सो देयर आर सो मेनी अदर dimensions to the genetics, but we will not get into detail because just to understand broadly कि genetics का क्या future है. We can now understand that the genetic tests today are done by the oncologists to a great extent, and in India they're being done, whether it's BRCA1, BRCA2 for breast cancer and so many other things. But that's not the area that we want to really address, because healthcare professionals already qualified hain, and if they understand genetics to an extent that they're qualified with, they will be able to do this. Of course, they have a broad understanding, but when you're a doctor with so many different disciplines, we don't go to an orthopedician if you have a chest pain, do you? अब जाते हैं कि ऑर्थोपेडिशियन के पास जाते हैं, वो भी तो डॉक्टर ही है. आपका दांत का प्रॉब्लम है तो क्या आप न्यूरोलॉजिस्ट के पास जाते हैं? आपका ईएनटी का प्रॉब्लम है तो क्या आप फिजियोथेरेपिस्ट के पास जाते हैं? सो broadly you can classify them as healthcare professionals, but they don't really understand the other specialization. Today we have super specialists. Gone is the culture of family physicians, जो छोटी मोटी दवा के लिए, छोटी मोटी हेल्थ कंडीशंस के लिए आपको कुछ ना कुछ ऐसा प्लेसिबो इफेक्ट वाले भी डिसीज मतलब मेडिसिन दे के वापस भेजते थे. एंड विद अ लिटिल रेस्ट, with a little peace in your mind, probably your hormone secretion was normal, and then you probably got back your good health. But today we are all obsessed with a clinical intervention that for every little discomfort we actually take unnecessary medicine, which is now today called as ADR, or rather which results into ADR, which is adverse drug reactions. Google it and then see. Lot of qualified doctors will tell you about consuming medicines. So what are we looking at is wellness. Wellness is what? Your body is nurtured by the nutrition from the food, not from the visual treat of eating burgers, pizzas, pastas, but eating nutritious food that probably give you all the macronutrients, all the micronutrients, or minerals and the vitamins. And ye khane ke liye you probably may have to compromise a little with your tongue. So agar tasty to the body can be nasty to the tasty to the tongue, can be nasty to the body. तो अगर यहाँ पर एक थोड़ा सा sacrifice है, that's exactly where you'll get your good health. So अभी करेला किसी को भी नहीं चाहिए, but then you'll see only people who are going at a for jogging in the early morning probably will have a glass of karela juice, because doctors have told them कि अगर नहीं करोगे, नहीं करेगा, नहीं करेला नहीं पिएगा तो मरेगा. So then people will say that कि भाई उससे ये अच्छा है कि I can actually consume it. So friends, the bottom line is we are actually looking at people not to become sick, and if they're sick with some chronic conditions, find out the root cause and get them back to the wellness world. So we are not dealing with illnesses. We are not people assuring you any cure or any medical intervention. So any one of you having this mindset saying that it should be the doctors who should be prescribing, it's very sad that people actually listen to or rather value a prescription. But of course, we have enough liberal doctors who are now opening up to the world of genetics, and they want to prescribe it for their patients who trust them, and they know the value of this. But in the absence of that, nutrition has been prescribed by health conscious individuals, wellness campaigners. And today, wellness is 4 times bigger industry than the pharma industry. It's $4.5 trillion industry compared to pharma industry, which is 1.27 billion industry. So that means all 10 segments of wellness, whether it's wellness tourism, wellness spas, and wellness supplements, or the Zumbas and yogas, if you put everything, wellness industry is huge, because apparently there are more healthy people than the sick people. So this distinction has to be done. So it's a mindset and awareness that would set people for the lifestyle. And today people don't care for all their food and everything, and in spite of that they want to get an injection and get their pain done. I mean, God save them. It's like एक साइड में चपाती खाते जाते हैं, दूसरे साइड में insulin lete jayenge. So it doesn't really work anymore. We got to understand that even chapati today, which is expected to be extinct, is having gluten, which is actually one of the triggers of diabetes. So friends, what are we looking at? A DNA testing at Welocity. This is one of our things that you buy a DNA kit. It will be sent to you across India by courier, and you could actually get your saliva sample. This is non-invasive. आपको सुई लगा के ब्लड कलेक्ट करने की जरूरत नहीं है, and within 21 days you will get your complete comprehensive once in a lifetime genetic test report. Now I call this is world's most cost effective health management. कई सारे लोगों को ऐसा लगता है कि maybe this is a little this is expensive. Now if you really make a note of all the expenses that you do for your health and compare it with, do a genetic test, and then look at what are the savings that you will be able to do. I myself am a testimony. For the last 5 years, I probably have never taken medicine beyond, say, around 5%. If I was to take 100 tablets in a year, I now take probably around 5 or rather 3, I would say, because in the last 4 years, I've never been to a medical doctor for any health condition, simply because I've been able to understand what are my Okay, so I'm not in Mumbai. I'm in Karnataka today. So there's a little bit of disturbance from the place where I'm doing this webinar. So this genetic reporting will be 245, so not 125. Here is a little outdated slide. So यहाँ पे आपका counseling किया जाएगा, and then you will be told for 1 hour. I told you I paid 1,000 rupees for 4 minutes. So if you do that for 60 minutes, you're probably may be paying more than 10,000 rupees only for a counseling. Along with that, you will get a solution for the rest of your life, because आप कुछ भी कर सकते हैं, कुछ भी चेंज कर सकते हैं लाइफ में, but then you cannot change your biological father and mother. इसका मतलब ये हुआ कि you actually get the same genes and you actually pass them on to your offsprings. आपके बच्चों के लिए आप पास ऑन करते हैं. So आपका जेनेटिक के जो सीक्वेंस में जो छुपे हुए जो म्यूटेशंस हैं, उसके आधार पर और आपकी जो लाइफस्टाइल में से आपके म्यूटेशन जो अकर हो रहे हैं, उसके आधार पर आपको क्या करेक्शंस करने हैं, ये आपको एक सीक्रेट बताया दिया जाएगा. इट्स लाइक अ जीपीएस फॉर योर लाइफ. हम सभी लोगों ने गाड़ी तो बड़ी महंगी खरीदी है, जगुआर है, बीएमडब्ल्यू है, मर्सिडीज है, लॉम्बार्गिनी है, या बहुत कुछ हमारे पास 2 व्हीलर्स 4 व्हीलर्स हो सकते हैं. तो ये सब साधन है, लेकिन जाना कैसे है, कैसे सेफ चलाना है, हमको पता नहीं है. सो हमारा शरीर जगुआर, लॉम्बार्गिनी और मर्सिडीज से भी बहुत ज्यादा कीमती है, तो उसको कैसे हेल्दी चलाना है, ये अगर पता करना है, वी नीड टू बी नोइंग द सीक्रेट्स ऑफ हेल्दी लिविंग जो हमारे जीन्स में छुपे हुए हैं. सो वंस वी अनअर्थ दैट, then you can actually have an help desk assistant for the next 1 year. अगर ये 1 साल में आप अपना हेल्थ का ग्रिप और टेक कंट्रोल ऑफ योर लाइफ, जो हम लोग बोलते हैं कि अगर आप कंट्रोल नहीं ले पा रहे, nothing will happen, because you're not either serious, you're very casual, or you're okay with what's happening to you. Please don't complain, because you are not taking responsibility of your health. क्योंकि आपके साथ आपके पास चाबी दिया है, लेकिन ताला आपको खोलना है. तो अगर ताला नहीं खोलोगे, चाबी को खो दोगे, तो ढूंढते रहो जिंदगी भर, आपका हेल्थ आएगा नहीं. सो फ्रेंड्स, जीन बैंकिंग भी हमारी फैसिलिटी है. राइट नाउ वी आर डूइंग इलेक्ट्रॉनिक जीन बैंकिंग, बिकॉज वी आर डूइंग यूजिंग अ कंप्लीटली डिफरेंट टेक्नोलॉजी. लाइक एंड्रॉइड अलग है एंड iOS, iPhones अलग है. So 2 different platforms. So we have upgraded our technologies in such a way that all your mutations will be with us with the strictest stringent privacy policy, and you don't really have to do this test once again from what we have done. So this is exactly how your genetic report looks like. This is like your cover page. So this is a genetics testing program, and we give you a lot of instructions as to how to read. इसका क्या अलग अलग मीनिंग क्या है, कैसे इमोजीज आएंगे, स्माइलीज आएंगे, जिससे आप अपना रिस्क फैक्टर्स को डिटरमिन कर सकते हैं. सो वी डू 200 डिफरेंट टेस्ट, एंड उसमें आपको स्माइली से आपको पता चलता है कि आपका रिस्क फैक्टर क्या है, कि आर यू ऑन अ सेफर जोन विद नो रिस्क, और मे बी देयर इज अ बॉर्डर लाइन रिस्क, और यू हैव अ हाई रिस्क. एंड अगर हाई रिस्क है, उसके लिए क्या मेजर लेना है, वो आपको एक्शन प्लान में पता चल जाएगा. सो ऑल 200 टेस्ट विल बी इंडिविजुअली एक्सप्लेन्ड इन 210 डिफरेंट पेजेस. तो इसमें सिम्टम्स क्या होंगे, फॉर एग्जाम्पल विटामिन B12 डिफिशियंसी रहेगा तो क्या सिम्टम्स होंगे, क्या इसकी वजह से डिसीजेस आ सकते हैं, क्या फूड सोर्सेस हैं जिसको यूज करके आप ये मिटिगेट कर सकते हैं, इसको null एंड वाइड कर सकते हैं। तो रिसर्च के क्या रिकमेंडेशन है, कौन से जीन चेक किया, क्या रिस्क फैक्टर्स है, ये सभी आप यहाँ पर पता कर सकते हैं। सो फ्रेंड्स, देयर आर अ लॉट ऑफ पीपल, very important people who have done this test. You can see a lot of people who have done, who are very familiar to you. Friends, what I want to tell is the genomic wellness is inevitable. आप इसको माने या ना माने, you know, if I tell you 5G is important, you might still be happy with 2G. 2G में से भी फोन कर सकते हैं. I still see people using 2G. But अगर health के मामले में if you're not upgrading, of course you'll have to pay a very heavy price. And in the video that I played in the beginning, friends, the video told कि CRISPR-Cas9 एक ऐसे टेक्नोलॉजी, वन ऑफ द टेक्नोलॉजीज, जेनेटिक इंजीनियरिंग को लेके काफी कुछ टेक्नोलॉजीज अभी आने वाली हैं. तो the student who gave that speech in the TEDx says that what every part of your body can be changed because of this CRISPR-Cas9 technology, which is a gene editing tool. हम लोग पहले कागज में लिखते थे और या पेंसिल में, पेन में लिखते थे. अगर आप कुछ करेक्शन हो गया तो हम लोग उसको इरेज करते थे. एंड देन यू नो, कभी कभी वो पेपर फट भी जाता था, ज्यादा इरेज करेंगे, या पेज बहुत गंदा दिखता था. But then now comes the electronic, typing, digital, Word, Excel, and all these kind of softwares. तो वहां पे आप कितना भी डिलीट कर दो, आपका पेपर साफ सुथरा रहेगा. We probably had not visualized this 20-30 years before. But so अगर हम ये सोचें कि हमारे जीन्स के म्यूटेशंस, हमारे शरीर के अंदर जो जीन्स हैं, म्यूटेशंस हैं, उसको भी एडिट किया जाएगा, well, अभी हमको ऐसा लगता है कि probably impossible. But tomorrow, in a few years time, which is actually happening already, that the technology is proven, but it's very, very expensive. Like genome testing, 20 साल पहले would have cost you maybe 5-6 lakh rupees, but now it's available in thousands. And same way CRISPR-Cas9 अभी $1 million हैं, but very soon it will be a possibility that in normal hospitals you will have CRISPR-Cas9 कि भाई उसका gene editing किया है, उसका mutations को कुछ changes किया. All this can happen. Of course, it has legal, ethical implications. That's why all this scientific community is very cautious about it. But CRISPR-Cas9 is going to be a reality very, very soon. So there are going to be a scientific way of addressing human health. And if you are not updated, we definitely will be outdated, and we will be still probably taking a token number and waiting for our consultancy and taking some medicines, assuming that our health is good. So friends, my invitation to you today is that genomic wellness is the future. All of you who have come for the first time, if you have come for the first time, talk to the person who has invited you, because they've all been attending these kind of webinars for the last 5 years. 2 years webinars, but 3 years seminars. We have done literally all topics under the sun as far as genetics is concerned, whether it's epigenetics, whether it's pharmacogenomics, whether it is nutrigenomics, or so many other things. So that's the future. So friends, my invitation to all of you is that talk to the person and go full swing. Is there Sandhu who would like to know about the gluten intolerance she has? Of course, yes. Is there Judah Pinkett who would like to know about the gluten intolerance? Of course, there are people. So आज हमारे समाज में बहुत सारे ऐसे लोग हैं, उनके पास जरूरत से ज्यादा पैसा है, पर उनके पास हेल्थ नहीं है. पर वो हेल्थ वहां तक उनको लेके जाने के लिए we need people like you who are the messengers of genomic wellness. So you'll have to go through that initial pain of resistance. Let's not depend on the doctors for everything. Doctors are there doing their clinical job. We as enlightened people, people who are certified in genomic wellness, can go to the like-minded people, health conscious people, and educate them. Doctors don't think, if you give a report, the chances that they might say this is bullshit, this is not work, this is all bakwas, because they don't really work hard, because they don't really have the time to read a 250 page. I know what's the kind of grind our counselors are going through, day in and day out. अगर वही reports को आपको वही interest के साथ अलग-अलग patients के साथ आपको पेश करना है, you need a lot of patience, you need that commitment, you need that ability to work hard. वो हम लोग कर रहे हैं, and we'll continue to do that. So with this I close. I would like to now ask for any questions if you have. Dr. Usha, if you want to monitor that, you still can. So Mukti Sadhana, I definitely take your feedback. Okay, so Doctors are suggesting their patients to patients' family members for genomic profiling. Most of the people will follow under guidance of HEB, so they are guided what is next. Okay, so I understand broadly. If I'm not reading too much into what you're writing, I think I can understand that you're saying that yes, people are all dependent on doctor's prescription today. कि उनको ऐसा लगता है कि भाई डॉक्टर्स ने बोलेगा तो हम लोग करेंगे कुछ भी. But how many doctors are today doing it very ethically today? I mean, like doctors are today telling people that you need to have a surgery. But is it required? The research says that 60% of the surgeries in India probably could have been avoided if there was a ethical, prescription. A lot of medicines could have been avoided if there was no need. There are many doctors probably write the prescription even before listening to the symptoms. They're predetermined. So yeah, these are challenges. So that's why we call genomic wellness is a disruptive. It actually dislocates a lot of fundamental beliefs, which are age-old beliefs, which we are tend to believe as the truth. So ये कोई सच्चाई नहीं है, and this is not something that I am saying. I'm not a medical doctor, but the medical doctors in our panel come and tell that this is exactly what's happening. Of course, do we discard the mainstream healthcare industry? Not at all. I mean, we revere that industry. उसके ऊपर हमको काफी फख्र है, and absolutely amazing technology. The way the vaccine has been invented in record time. Usually it would take around three years, but now it's happening. This time it happened in record 18 months, maybe, or less than that. Shows the efficiency of the medical fraternity. But of course, they also have done a lot of genetic testing. When the Omicron variant came, they were doing a whole genome test of the people. So आपको जो genetic testing का जो report, जो rapid testing में आपको 30 minutes में मिल रहा था, या जो antigen test में आपको 6 घंटे में मिल रहा था, that took 3 days, 48 hours sometimes. So people missed their flight. People had to make a lot of travel adjustments because the report would take longer time. So friends, that's all we have. Any questions that you have? Initially you may be a little disappointed, and of course I was listening to the webinar yesterday as well. So that's perfectly all right. You're in the right place. If people queue up, people queue up for genomic testing, I would probably put it on the Welocity Genetics website and sell it at a lesser price, and nobody, we don't need you. Okay, you're needed because you are the warriors. You are the genomic warriors. Like we had COVID warriors, you are the genomic warriors. You are the people who actually propagate. And जब initially कोई भी industry आती है, of course थोड़ा resistance है, but आज हम लोग भी बहुत सारे कुछ जो technologies को आजमा रहे हैं, या a lot of facilities that we are doing. Somebody has actually sacrificed something to either invent or go through a lot of humiliation, and वो करने के बाद में उन्होंने जो इन्वेंट किया है, ये सर्विसेज जो ऑफर किया है हम सभी लोगों को, या जो एक पेन एरिया है जिसको सॉल्व किया है, they have gone through a lot of struggle, resistance, no sayers and all that. So this is our time. We need to gracefully accept that, and then we need to do it. By the way, let me tell you, I've been on a South India tour. I've been to almost 6-7 different cities of Kerala and Tamil Nadu and Karnataka. And right now I'm in Karnataka. I should be back in Maharashtra very soon. And I had a amazing time explaining genetics and what do we do at Welocity. People are stunned with the technology that we are bringing in. People are absolutely not aware, क्योंकि हो सकता है कि हम लोगों को बहुत ज्यादा ओवरडोज हो गया है कि वेबिनार का, जेनोमिक्स का, तो हमको ऐसा लगता है कि ये सब सुना हुआ है, ये सब पता है. बट देन पीपल व्हेन they listen to this, they're jumping on their seat by saying that ऐसा भी हो सकता है क्या, even after 5 years of we starting this. So with 140 crores people, if you think that we'll be able to reach, we are all mistaken. So इसके लिए बहुत ज्यादा टाइम, बहुत सारा पेशेंस की जरूरत है. Velocity Genetics is on that mission. We are just begun, just 5 years. Out of that, 2 साल तो Corona के लिए गया. And of course, we are just begun, and we are going to regroup, and we are going to continue our mission with a renewed vigor. So with this, I close. Thank you very much to all of you. It's 9:10, so let's wind up with some final remarks from Ushama.
Thank you so much, Stan sir. It was really inspiring and very, very motivational. Looking back and then looking ahead into the next 5 years, I think the entire perceptions not to a great extent, but what I believe is, even if we can change 1% people's mindsets, it's going to be a very long way, and another set of inspirational journey for everybody who is present on our webinar today. They will have much more to talk about and share. And yes, with reference to healthcare professionals, again, I say, because this is a disruptive technology, like I said in the starting, when we started with the webinar, you think about insurance, then insurances are not as per prescription. But if you see at the other end of the insurance desk, the people who give you the sanctions for the policies and sanctions for your medical bills, they are healthcare professionals, and they are super qualified specialists in their own field. Similarly, looking back at our reports, these are generated by very, very qualified and super specialists in this very field. And yes, this began with a research in 1990 to 2003 with the first human genome project which happened in the West. And very soon, I think, if Corona was not to come, the first Indian genome project was also to take shape. So all this is going to support us, all this is going to help us, provided we are passionate and we have a belief in what we do. So again, I recommend to all of you, if you haven't tried the genetic test for anybody else in your life, please try it on yourself first. Charity begins at home, and it is definitely something that is going to help you have big breakthroughs, big realizations about yourself, about your own health. So all the best. Thank you so much, Stan sir, once again. All the best. Have a very pleasant evening, friends. Thank you for joining us. Have healthy food, sleep early, take care of your circadian rhythm, get up early, get into your fitness regimes, and we will see you very soon